What a piece of junk.
She'll make .5 past light speed. She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid. I've made a lot of special modifications myself. But we're a little rushed, so if you'll just get on board, we'll get out of here.
Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. This video is just going to be a quick whistle stop tour of my latest build. This is another commission. It's the Bandai Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon. Now this has been a bucket list kit for me for a while. I think ever since I really got back into modelling, I've been aware of this thing. I think it came out somewhere like 2016, 2017 maybe. Anyway, I've been aware of this particular model. It's very expensive when compared to most other sort of model kits. The detail on this thing, however, is insane. Absolutely phenomenal. It's based on the original 5-foot across filming miniature from A New Hope. So you can imagine that's quite a sizable model, huge amount of detail on there. The guys in the ILM shop obviously spent a long time building this particular model for the film, and used huge amounts of kit parts to create it. So to do something like that justice would take a lot of effort on the part of a model company. And I suppose for the type of stuff that they're producing these days, who better than Bandai really to build to make these kits. The parts that you get, the hull parts, come out with lots of details already on them. But then there are stacks and stacks of sprues with even more details, wee tiny pipes, just, you know, going from one bit to the other, and you think, is this actually going to fit? And actually they do. The engineering on it's insane as well. So I'll just give you a quick look at what we're doing so far, or where I've got to so far, and then the rest of this video I'll just kind of chart the progress up until the point probably it gets to primer. After that I'll do a separate video of just some of the paint choices that I'm going to make and some of the techniques that I'm going to use. I'm not going to do a video actually going bit to bit on this, just because I really want to divert all my time and attention to the actual build and the paint job itself. I don't really want to mess this up. As I say, it's quite an expensive model. I think the cheapest I've seen it on Amazon at one point I think was just under £300, and I've also seen it sell for over 400, so you could imagine there's a lot of money invested just purely on the kit alone, never mind the building and the painting of it. And it's really something special. I really want to make a good job of it. I do anyway. With all my models, I always want to make a good job of them, but there's just something just mind-numbingly incredible about this. Anyway, have a look at this. So, as you can see, there are a lot of sprues. I mean, I reckon I'm probably about halfway through the build now, and there's still a huge amount of parts just on the model, sorry, on the sprues. But there's also a huge amount of parts also put onto the model as well. You get the panel at the back here for the top section, the rear top section with the 6 vents. Loads of wee Panther G parts in there in the back of the German tanks. You can see all these wee holes here. All these wee holes. This is actually where pipe work and various other greeblies have to be attached. And there's a huge amount of work just going into this one piece. This is the underside of the main body. I mean, you can see the damage. So you actually had to build it apart. As you can see here, there's a part here, you had to build that, stick it in place, just so you can see the damage through the bottom of the hull. Each of these little pits have all had to be built as well. We've got the turret here with the gun, the quad cannon. On the back here you can see I've actually already put a wee bit of primer on here just because, so this kit comes with lighting. There's a lighting harness goes in here. Along this section here there's a couple of sort of frosted plastic light diffusers for the LEDs, so the LEDs, you know, light up the vents here for the back of the engines. But in order to paint that without any paint going onto the light diffusers so it doesn't ruin the effect, I need to paint this first before I actually stick them in place. But then I have to stick these in place before we put on the top section, which we'll have another wee look at in a second. You've got the two mandibles here that have got to be built separately and then attached. These two sections here, this here's kind of almost in half. You've got to be joined. You've got the end caps. Oh well, we can see that or not. I mean, just the details, just even in here, it's just nuts, absolutely nuts. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out so far, but there is still a huge amount to go. Just quickly show you this part here. So we've got the top section. I've still got the turret to put on this one, and the bit with the 6 vents that goes on here, and it also allows you access, so that bit will be removable and that will allow you access to switch the LEDs on and off. We've got the cockpit here, the little tunnel, and I don't know how well you can see this. Let's just move the camera in, adjust the lighting a wee bit. So yep, and there you can see Goldenrod, 3PO at the back with Princess Leia, Chewie and Han. These are there's another 2 characters come with it. You've got Luke and Obi-Wan. So effectively you can recreate various different scenes from A New Hope just with the guys in the front seat. This was the customer's choice. This is who he wanted in the cockpit, so that's what he's got. Again, some nice damage here and just here, and that's going to be a lot of fun to paint. Really looking forward to those particular bits. We've got the radar dish which turns, very iconic piece of the miniature, which interestingly features a bit of, I don't know how you can see that, yep, just here is a bit of the Saturn V. It's one of the very few parts of this model that I've actually been able to identify as I've been working my way through it, which is quite interesting. Just a wee point just to note there. We've got various tank parts, different sections of tank, hulls and stuff, just in some of the greebly pits. It's just wild, absolutely wild. Such an incredible model. The detail on it's absolutely insane. And it's taken me a wee while to get to this stage, and I think it'll take me a bit longer yet to get the thing actually finished. School holidays haven't made it much easier right enough either. I've had the kids and stuff to deal with this week, so but I've only been building it over the last 7 days or so, but a couple of hours at night here and there is all I've managed so far. I think I'm making good progress, but I'm just getting a bit weary now. Not because I'm not enjoying it, I actually really enjoy the build process, but actually because I'm just itching to paint this thing. Absolutely itching. But, you know, bit of patience, we'll get there in the end. Anyway, moving on to the next stage, see you in a second. So you'll see that things have moved on significantly since the last portion of the video. I've pretty much finished building. A couple of bits still to do. The bottom side has been primed. I had a bit of an issue with this section here. I stupidly filled that whole part in when I need a part of it free, because that's where the basement goes into, so I need to tidy that up. A couple of bits here and there still to be added. I've masked off the engines at the back because they needed to be painted before the clear parts went in. That's done, I need to keep that masked over. Cockpit, that's masked over, that's all done. The cockpit cover is in place, but I'll keep that off until a later point. So really what's left now is just to tidy up a couple of bits and pieces and get this finished priming, and then get the base coat down on it, which I think, I can't remember if I mentioned it before, because it's actually been that long since I since I started this video. The build process for this has taken a long time. There's been various hurdles in the way of getting it to actually build it. Christmas time, family commitments, work commitments, illnesses, etc, etc. Excuse me. It's been a busy couple of months since I started this project, but I'm really happy to see it moving along. It's looking great. I love the detail on it, but almost 700 parts, 600 and something, I think. Is it 670 or something like that? Somewhere in that region. It's a lot of parts for a model kit, especially at this scale. There's a lot of really small parts, quite delicate piping, things like that we can see that's been put in place. Some of it is actually thankfully moulded on, like this bit here, but then you have got like things here and here and here, all these parts, various other bits all over. They came in individual parts of the sprues, and so they had to be glued in individually. Takes a bit of time, but we're getting there. Hopefully the next time you see this, it'll be fully in primer. Right, so I'm going to make this the final segment of this video. I'm just checking in at where we're at. So, primer is all down. The bottom side's still no base coated yet, that's still in primer. But I've already started making headway on the base coat on the top. I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but Reefer White is the colour that we're using. And I've already started to pick out some of the grey spots on these engine fins at the back. Where else have we got here? Also on the engine deck, I've started to apply some of the decals. We've got, sorry about that late a wee second, where is it? The cockpit cover. Let's bring the lighting back over again. So we've got the cockpit cover done, bit of weathering applied to that as well, and some of the decals. And the radar dish is now also been dirtied up as well. So this is really the kind of colour scheme we're looking for. This is why everybody thinks the Falcon's grey. That looks probably a bit harsher in this light than what it does in reality, but it will also be knocked back a wee bit with the final mist coat of dark grime. So everybody thinks that the Falcon's grey. In Empire Strikes Back, I think it was a very, very light grey when they painted that model, but the original 5-foot film in miniature, which this is probably the closest representation of, albeit on a smaller scale, was from A New Hope, and the New Hope one was painted in Reefer White. It's not an absolute brilliant bright white. It's a very warm, muted white, sort of creamy colour. Depending on what light you look at it in, sometimes it has a slightly cooler appearance, sometimes slightly warmer, depending on what other paints it's paired up with and stuff as well. There's not really much to say about that other than the fact that it's Archive X, screen matched. You know, they're replicating all the flow coil colours that were used by ILM when they were painting all these miniatures for the original films. They got a lovely nice matte finish, and well, they're made for painting Star Wars models. They're ideal. They're great. I like them. There are other nice paints out there as well, Pro Acryl and stuff. I don't have any of those paints as of yet, but I'm going to think about investing in some, because they do some lovely colours out there as well. But anyway, it's another story. We're talking about the Falcon. So the engine deck here at the back, you'll see I've started to just lightly apply some grey here, just for the, I suppose, the heat of the exhaust fumes or whatever it is that comes out the back here. I just had some spare grey left in the airbrush at the time, so I just applied that lightly. But really, I don't want to apply any more weathering to the hull, because I want to get all the decals down, so that as I'm weathering it, it matches in and doesn't look like I've just put decals on top of a weathered ship. They would just look silly. So everything all blends in. You see it all as one, rather than it just distracting your eye. couple of wee bits I still need to pick up with the reefer white that are still showing through, but you know, it's a work in progress. Get the side parts and whatever, just slowly building up the colours. But yeah, I'm very pleased with it so far. It's turning out really nice. It's been a tough journey to build this. Just because I've been so busy with work, family, etc. As I've said before, a couple of bouts of illnesses, not just me but the kids as well. So it would be really not very nice to be disappear out to my bench when the wife's left dealing with the kids when they're ill. So I've had to do my bit, but that's just the way it is. This isn't a full-time occupation. This is a hobby at the end of the day. So you know, there are other priorities, but I'm getting some time on this now. As I say, as you can see, we've got the base colour down, so hopefully we'll get moving forward pretty quickly, and we'll start to see something that resembles what we've seen on screen. That's the plan anyway. Jeez, well, that looks really dark in comparison. The lighting's not exactly suitable for showing it, but as I say, once the primer, the mist coats, the final mist coats start to go down to create that sort of dusty, grimy look, then it really will start to lighten the ship up a bit as well, and everything will just start blending together. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I mean, I have enjoyed. I know I've kind of sort of slated the model in terms of the build process. I've actually really enjoyed building it. It's been great fun. It's just unfortunate I've had to take breaks and intervals in building it. I once had built it, I did take a bit of a hiatus and built something else, just a scratch built sort of Death Star surface sort of display, just because I was just all Falcon do it. And that does tend to happen. But I'm back on my A game with the Falcon, and we're going to start getting paint down in this. This is the bit I've been looking forward to the most, is just painting this thing. It's just going to be so much fun, getting the streaks down and the weathering and, you know, blast marks and stuff like that, even just the colour panels and whatnot. So, yeah, we're making progress, slowly but surely. We will get there, and I'll do a wee video of just looking at the weathering process of this ship and some of the colour schemes and the choices. Well, not that I'm making, the ILM made, I suppose, and I'm just trying to replicate that with the Archive X collection that I've got. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. As I say, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this has been of some use to you. And if you like what you see, give the video a wee like, or a wee subscribe and whatever. Share it amongst any other people you know that like a wee bit of modelling. Just like to share my builds and share what I do and how I go about it, and be good to learn some of the stuff that you guys out there are doing as well. Right, anyway, take it easy. Cheers now.